how important is it to store wealth in precious metals rather than in dollars in the bank?
Well, gold and silver are scarce, right? We can't print them like we can print new money. And we've seen the gold price go from $300 an ounce in 2000. Now it's 2025, and we're almost $3,000 an ounce. So it's up 10 times in value in 25 years. That really means the dollar is buying 10 times less in value because we tend to get it upside down. It's not that gold is that much more expensive. It's the same ounce of gold as it was 25 years ago. It's just that the dollar that buys that ounce of gold buys that much less. And what are we going through right now? Well, we're going through eggflation, right? The cost
Right.
of eggs has skyrocketed from like $3 a dozen to $10 a dozen. Well, that has a lot to do with an avian flu, but the point is the dollar, as politicians manage our business of the United States government and keep rewarding their friends by just pet projects. And, that's what Elon Musk and the Doge committee is trying to fight against right now, is to save money. That's because the government's become rampant and we're just not managing our finances well. So what do precious metals do? That's a way to get some of your hard-earned savings out of a depreciating asset and out of the banking system. They give you an insurance policy for the rest of your finances. 5 to 10% of your holdings in precious metals is a good policy. It's private, transportable, transferable wealth that, more importantly, is immediately liquid anywhere and has no counterparty risk. Gold and silver are one of the only assets known to man whose value is not contingent upon a counterparty producing a result. Someone you rent an apartment to paying the mortgage, paying the rent, right? Or a stock for a company. The company's got to produce business, make a profit. That's all counterparty risk. Precious metals don't have that. And what we're seeing right now is central banks around the world, mostly in the global south, who don't want to be sanctioned by the US if they run politically afoul of us, are buying gold at record levels. And that's what's helping to drive the gold price to record high prices today, is it's gold is becoming the world's reserve currency underneath the dollar because of this.
But for
And
thousands of years, wasn't gold, silver, or a bimetal standard of some sort basically the reserve currency bouncing from one empire to the next?
absolutely, gold was picked back in ancient times for three reasons. Number one, it was scarce in the ground. It was impervious, meaning the nature couldn't impair it. And number three, it was malleable. They could make it into things easily. And if you go back in time to ancient times, coins have been gold and silver all the way to just before World War II, when the gold coin standard ended. And then the fiat money era was born after World War II, when the dollar was made the world's reserve currency. But it was backed by gold, by ounces of gold in Fort Knox, until Richard Nixon took us off of the gold standard in 1971, when we started to print more money than we had gold in Fort Knox to back it. And that's truly when the paper era that we're in today was really born. And that allowed politicians ever since to just print more money.
Right. So going back through 6,000 years of recorded history, gold has always been money. And
Yes.
if you look, there's some people out there, they're looking at cave drawings, and it's pretty obvious the stuff hanging around these people's necks, or, that they're showing off, is probably gold. So we probably have been using gold as money for 10,000 years. And
Right.
for the first time in history, August 15th, 1971, America, specifically President Nixon, took us off of the gold standard as it was set up in 44. And that was the first time in all of history, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, please, that no major country on earth based their money on gold. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I believe it is. I do believe it is. So we are in a new modern era. We've been there for oh,
50 years.
yeah, 50 years
Real
now.
close, just over.
Two generations, which is enough time for people to forget. Once you get into a third generation, people forget what's happened in the past, and that's when you're doomed to repeat previous failures. And we're heading into the abyss with our debt at $37 trillion now. And they're
But we owe it to ourselves. And all of those, in the long run, we'll all be dead. Anybody else have any stupid sayings to go with that?
I'm the next generation, so I am the long run. I don't want to deal with what you guys leave behind. Not at this rate.
You got there before I could ask you, Ethan. Very well done.
Well, I love so one of my favorite books is The Richest Man in Babylon, and it talks about how, way back in those ancient times, an ounce of gold would buy, the finest, toga and leather belt and leather shoes. And it goes through this whole thing. And then it compared it to today, where that same ounce of gold buys you the nicest suit and the good leather shoes and the leather belt. And if you look at the pricing of things, that they actually line up, it matches. And that was always incredible to me, that really the value of gold hasn't changed. It's just the value of our dollar. Dana Samuelson started a business from scratch that 27 years later is approaching $2 billion in sales. He has been in the precious metals market for over 40 years and is a true industry leader. Early in his career, he was mentored by industry legend James Blanchard. And in 1998, he founded American Gold Exchange, which is a leading national mail-order precious metals and numismatic coin company.
Make sure you are going to amergold.com. You can also follow Dana on X and Instagram at amgold. So just look up amgold. He's also at LinkedIn under Companies for American Gold Exchange, Inc.